everyone. Today we are doing a networking 101 with Actalent. Today here we have Sapna and Brent, both are account managers, but I'm going to give you guys your own introduction, just to highlight yourself. So please go ahead.
Yeah, I can kick us off. Hello, everyone at George Mason. My name is Sapna Minocha. I am a fellow Patriot alumni, so big fan over here. I work at Actalent. We're a talent solutions firm, so we're a recruiting firm, and so a lot of what we do is we help new grads and professionals in the workforce already find jobs. I've been with my company for about 3 years now, and I've placed over 200 different individuals with various clients and have been to probably over 50 networking events where I actually held a position as a secretary on a board of a local networking event. So really passionate about this, excited to talk to you. I'm an open book, so feel free to ask any questions, but excited to give some insight.
Yeah, good deal, Supna. Hello, everyone. My name is Brent. I've been with Actalent for a little over 6 years now. I run the construction and mission critical, aka like data center portfolio for what we do. And a big part of what Supna and I do is to uncover new business, new clients, if you will. So going to networking events is kind of like a second nature to what we do. I was just at one last night here in the Leesburg area. So yeah, this is a hot topic for definitely for Supna and I. So I'm glad to share a little bit with you and add a little bit of our experience to what you guys are learning today.
Amazing. Thank you both. That was absolutely great introductions. I'll just say mine very quickly. I am an intern for the Office of Career Services here at Costello College of Business. My part is to do a lot of their social media marketing, but occasionally, like today, I'll host some events. And I am currently a senior studying MIS and marketing. Okay, let's hop right in. So here today we have a little bit of a puzzle. Oh, before I get started, students-wise, if you have any questions, just please put them in the chat and then we'll answer them right after each slide or at the end, whichever one we all prefer. And Sapna and Brent, please hop in anytime. You can stop me as well and I'll let you guys have your speech and everything. So here we have our puzzle and you're wondering what is the missing piece in the middle. So I'm guessing this is why we're all here for today. So we have top skills, well-written resumes, professional branding, and academic and degree major. I mean, those are great, right? But what fits them all together? Of course, it's networking. As we all know, I mean, we're all in business. Networking is one of the key ingredients to success. I mean, you can have a very compelling resume, a very compelling GPA, but connections and networking is really how you can get further. A little bit of quiz. You guys can hop right into this in the chat. What percentage of jobs are found through networking? All right, we got 70, 75, 70 again, 20. Okay. Do I hear a higher number? 80. Okay, 82. All right. So the answer is 85. I mean, again, networking is extremely crucial. So from Brent and Sapna's perspective, how well do you see success happen when it comes to networking? Do you think it's super crucial for students, especially if they're trying to find a job right out of graduation?
Yeah, I mean, every single one of you can think of your own life and think about or know of a situation of where and how you ended up where you are now. And a lot of times it's because of you talk to somebody somewhere, or it's about who you know. I'm a firm believer it's all about who you know and not what you know. Although, obviously for technical skill sets, you can only get so far with that because you do need technical knowledge, but it is because of the network that you're linked up with and who you chat with.
Yeah, and to go off of that, great point, Brent, why networking is probably such a large member of why people get their jobs is a lot of events, that's where decision makers go. That's where the vice presidents of companies go. That's where the presidents of companies go. That's where anybody that is going to say yes to your resume is going to go. And so being able to meet them in person, first and foremost, puts you a leg up above any other candidate in the market. And then another thing is, when you look at I know going into the job market is overwhelming, and you're on Indeed and you're on LinkedIn and you're on ZipRecruiter and you're seeing all the same companies over and over again and you're sending the same amount of job applicants. A lot of these small startup companies, that aren't on LinkedIn and aren't on these platforms yet need a lot of help, and they're building out a team, and where they're finding their team is networking events. So probably why another reason that 85% of people get their jobs through networking.
I 100% agree. And another question that I had was that, for example, if a freshman is coming into college or someone that doesn't even know what networking is, how do they start? I mean, for example, I mean, when I was a little bit younger, I've always gotten stage fright or just being so nervous speaking to so many employers in one place. How do I make a difference? What do I do? Where do I start the conversation?
So a couple just resources you have, and I know we're going to touch on this in a little bit, but you have to look at different networking events. And right now, if you're a freshman in school, you're probably like, some of you might know your defined major, and some of you are like, I'm exploring. And so you can go on platforms like Eventbrite and other platforms and figure out what different networking events are. And then you'll find one that you just vibe with. You're like, I like this. I liked how it worked out. And my biggest piece of advice is continue to go. Don't be somebody that shows up one time. Continue to go. So the more you go, people are going to know your face. They're going to affiliate you with that industry. And it is uncomfortable to first start networking. Like, I would be lying to you to tell you that, oh yeah, you just walk in and you're like, oh, this is the most exciting thing. But meeting strangers, at least for me when I first started, was a little odd. But the more you do it, the more you talk to people, like the more you're going to get comfortable. It's just practice. And just remember that everyone there probably has a little nervousness into them. That's like, I don't want to go talk to a stranger. So just be the first one to go do it, because I promise you, no one has ever said no, they don't want to talk to me.
Love that. And we just have a little quote for everyone today. Good resumes get your foot in the door, connections get you jobs. So again, connections can take you very, very far. But as Brent did say, if you're in the technical field, it only gets you to a certain point, maybe entry level. But after that, I think the skills you're probably going to need to advance a little bit more, and connections maybe just help you with the first part. And then why network? You know, hidden market of jobs, opportunities are found through networking. A lot of them, for example, if you're applying a mass applying to LinkedIn and you're not getting anything back, most of the time they're probably just there's a better option for you. And why are you wasting this time when you can go up to these events, these career fairs, and actually network, show them that, you know, your personality is what makes you a better candidate out of everyone else, even though you don't have that, you know, a compelling resume, all that sort. And networking is a great return on investment. Of course, I mean, most of it is free unless you're paying to go to an event that is like $10, but a lot of times it's free. Career fair is free. Event networking is free. Any club organizations is free. And they're, of course, they're always inviting employers. And what are you going to lose? You know, the worst they can say is, oh, apply next year, but we'll always come back for you. And then increase your odds from 1% to 80% of opportunities and offering your services. So Sapna and Brent, would you like to touch base on a little bit of this, you know, just to tell students how to network a little bit more, what makes them stand out?
I mean, yeah, this could be a loaded question. You know, I think it starts with your branding, how you present yourself. I would encourage you guys, and I know this will come a little bit later. Subna has some really good stuff to share with y'all, but it really starts with your resume and how you present yourself on social media. Okay. And we talked about your resume earlier as one of the puzzle pieces, right? Well, think of when you search somebody on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, you see their profile picture. You're automatically in your brain, you're starting to come up with your own assumptions of the individual based on their profile picture. Listen, guys, that's your resume. Okay. The good thing is they don't have well, hopefully they don't have your picture on the resume, but they're already coming up with assumptions in their brain based on how your resume looks. Okay, so we can chat a little bit more about that later, but that's all I would say.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say, like, add to that, like, great points. If you're still like, why network? I highly recommend a book called Never Eat Alone. It is about networking and how it just will shape your life. So if you guys are interested in reading, it's also on Audible. It's a quick read. Highly, highly recommend it. It's called Never Eat Alone. And I believe it's by Keith Franzi. I think that's how you say his last name.
Okay, and these are some networking opportunities that here we offer, of course, LinkedIn. We'll go a little bit more on how LinkedIn is more beneficial to you, especially coming from a Mason student a little bit later. handshake networking opportunities. A lot of employers that come to career fair, they're gonna say, hey, text me on handshake. That's where all the students will use and will respond back to you, all that stuff. Employer events, career fairs, all also pretty much touch base on that. Please go, at least to show face and keep going so that they are able to remember you. They see that you're consistent and that you're trying, you're interested in their company. Student groups, a lot of our organizations here at GMU, they have employers come to do educational workshops. It is the perfect time, especially today. Like we have these two amazing individuals here helping you guys, telling you good advice and everything. So always show up. Mason Mentors, the mentor program where, as a student, you're a mentee, you have a mentor that is in that specific field that you're trying to get in. They have very nice experiences either in the corporate world, nonprofit organizations, and they'll just be there for you, guide you along the way. Alumni groups, we'll get into that a little bit more. That's more of on the LinkedIn side. Professors and peers. Every connection you make is a valuable one. Doesn't matter if it's a professor or a peer. Professors always has different connections. And if you're able to do well in their classes, ask them good questions, and you're a notable student, it can carry a very long way. And other social media platforms, but networking is everywhere. You can network in a coffee shop, you find somewhere, and the next day you become a partner. Like, come on, guys, it's everything. Connection is everything. So Selma and Brent, if you have any thoughts on this, and plus, when you were also a student, did you go to a lot of students group? Did you join a lot of, events, career fairs, and what came out of those?
Yeah, so transparently, I didn't. And I definitely missed a huge mark. It definitely took me a little bit longer to find my career in order to get comfortable with networking. And I wish I did it when I was a student because I think that just gives you good practice. You can say, you can be like, hey, my expertise are my degree, right? When you go out into the real world and you've already had a job, then you have to explain your expertise and your skill sets. So I just think that the sooner you start, the more practice you're going to get. And yes, knowing, like, making connections with everyone that you come across will matter. Like, having a professor as a reference that can speak highly on you is a great thing to take to a new employer. So just, I know you're kind of working through school right now and you're probably like, I just want to get through this class. But just think of every single person that you come across as an opportunity for 10 years down the road because you truly never know.
Love that. You never know what you're missing if you don't go. So always go. You have basically nothing to lose. And before any networking event, always set goals, prepare a personal networking plan. Again, a networking plan is basically preparing an elevator pitch, how you're gonna, approach them, how you're gonna prepare yourself, looking good, decent, resume. That is a networking plan. Uh, Again, prepare, elevator pitch, personal pitch, research the individual, organization, and companies. With the career fair coming up, guys, you can't go up to them and say, hey, what do you do? Please tell me, what do you do? I have no knowledge of what you do, but I'm trying to work for you. In a lot of sense, that doesn't really work, and it shows you have no interest and all you're trying to do is get a job. And prepare your talking points, write down what are some good questions that you can connect with them. Just say, what does success look like in this position for you for 90 days? I'm very interested in knowing. Refresh yourself, company news, what's going on with the company. Did they collab with, someone? Did they have a new client that you're really interested in? Plan professional attire. You should not show up to a networking event in anything that's not, professional. So Brent, did you have any thoughts on this side for just being prepared?
Yeah, I love the slide. If I would add one thing, it's if you email or get with the event organizer, they will almost always have an attendees list. So in your case, if you're going to a job fair, you can get the list of all the companies that are going to be there for the job fair that are going to be promoting their business. So, if that's 15 or 20 different organizations, you could pick a handful of those and do your research that maybe apply to you or that you're most interested in. So you can show up to the table because that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is your first interview. Okay. When you show up to that table and you're dressed professionally and you look nice and you have your resumes already with you, if that's the sake of the example, career fair, that's just how I might go about things. But like doing your, like what Lynn already said, doing your research before you get there and you already know about the company and you have some talking points. And you might have a 3x5 card with questions written down on it. So, but going back, my main suggestion would be to get a list of the companies that are going to be there.
Love that. I did have a question. So coming from your both point of view, for example, if you're setting up a table at a networking event, what would, make a student really stand out the most, like just like right off the base? Like, is it just how they introduce themselves, how they present themselves, or just, just basic things like, oh my God, they're carrying a business card or like a portfolio? What is it?
There's two people that typically show up to our tables. One, they're showing up because their professor told them to. They come to our table and they pick up our swag off our table and maybe ask a question so they don't feel as guilty taking our swag, and they leave. The next person comes up, they have the resume, they're actually interested in said job, Actalent, or whatever job table that they're showing up to. They're asking questions about the people standing there also. Like, hey, what role do you play at the company? How'd you get the job here? And what do you like best about the company? And different stuff like that. Like they're engaging, they're interested in the company. And it leaves a lasting impact on, say, somebody like Supna or myself, or we'll have like our internal HR running one of these tables, and it's typically somebody that's very good in communication and people reading that a company would send to these types of events, so they could kind of read the individual and get a good sense of their I don't know, you can't really get a sense of work ethic, but you get what I mean, like their personality and stuff like that. So yeah, somebody who's engaging.
Yeah, and to go off of that, like, and this takes practice, but once you go to a networking event, if you're the first person to start talking to people and you make people feel comfortable, there's like a little bit of a swagger to you. You're gonna come in and you're gonna be the person that attracts other people, and then you're gonna come in and you're gonna have this person come up to you and be like, hey, I want to talk to you, and then you can connect somebody else, and then all of a sudden you have a group of people that you created. So just think that, like, once you start to work a room and start to talk to multiple different people and just get out of that uncomfortable zone, that's when the magic starts.
Love that. Yeah, I 100%. I think one thing for me is trying to be authentic too, just to be myself in a sense, because I guess you can fake it along the way, but if the system goes really far and you end up actually getting it, and you prove that it's not you, you're not what you said, it kind of just mess it all up. So love that. Thank you both. And then now we get to LinkedIn. So networking via LinkedIn. How many number of people are on LinkedIn? A billion. And I mean, it's one of the biggest websites to network, find connections, and find your alumni, everything sort of like that. So these are just our upcoming LinkedIn workshop schedules. So why LinkedIn? LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network. I mean, I found a lot of my networks and messaging through LinkedIn. I mean, it's definitely great for me. I use it a lot more than, Handshake, Indeed, or Glassdoor. I feel like it's more personal to me. I am able to find any, third, like, thin connections through other people. I'm able to reach out to my alumni, all that stuff. And you're more likely to get a job via networking on LinkedIn rather than most other websites. Connects you with contacts at companies and GMU grads. So for example, if you're really close with someone and you see they post, oh, they just got a new job at Actalent, which is your dream company, isn't this a great time to get to know them, right? And then 30 million companies are listed. You can always filter it too if you're interested in consulting, if you're interested in tech, it always has that filter. And a lot of applications are submitted each month. Applications are rolling. You get, I've actually heard yesterday they have this function where you can actually see which jobs are posted within 24 hours. It gets you a better chance once you apply, rather than applying for a job that is over 100 plus postings. Usually in those sense, you might do better with networking than just submitting it, because it's just a waste of time. At this point, they've probably already picked someone. And then more than 90% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly. So Sabna and Brent, do you guys use LinkedIn regularly? And if, for example, a student reached out to you for connections, how does that make you feel? Are you responding on a daily basis? Is that good?
We are LinkedIn fanatics over here. So I actually went to my corporate team and I was like, how many hires do we get via LinkedIn opposed to us just getting job postings or cold calling? And 50% of our hires come from LinkedIn, which on average we place around nationwide. This is a nationwide stat. We place about 400 consultants a day, and 50% of them come from LinkedIn. So it's a huge number. And so when I recruited, the biggest thing I looked for is like on somebody's LinkedIn is a personal brand, right? Like, yes, you can say all the right things, you can have your education up there, but like get creative, like share as much as you want on your LinkedIn. Like good people like to work with good people. And the more you post and the more you create your own personal brand, that's when you get recognized, right? So it is no secret that it is a tough job market right now. And with that being said, it's the ones that go a little above and beyond. It's the ones that get a little uncomfortable with their LinkedIn and also show their authentic self that get a little bit more connections. And so my biggest piece of advice with LinkedIn is utilize it often, keep it up to date. I highly recommend LinkedIn. The first LinkedIn post I ever did was like, hey, I'm getting into golf. Anybody want to help me? And I got invited to like 5 different golf tournaments. And so I really think that there is a community out there that wants to invite other people. And so get like really good at it. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on how to get good at LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm more than happy to help. Brent as well, but big fan of LinkedIn.
Thank you. And yeah, definitely. I think LinkedIn is such a crucial part if you are trying to do connections. I mean, here at the office, we say LinkedIn is your online resume. I mean, a resume is a one pager. They're not going to read over 2 pages. And plus, you can't really have a nice picture on there. So why not customize your LinkedIn? I mean, personally, you should use LinkedIn as like an Instagram page, like, post about your accomplishments, right? And then hype yourself up, guys. Like, if talk about yourself. It's perfect for you. Okay, before networking on LinkedIn, be sure your profile is 100% complete, meaning that your education part is complete, your job is updated. I mean, like, why does it say in your description that you're in college, but your education is still in middle school and high school? That's just something. It's these little things that you can try to update to make sure that it looks completed and you're branded right. Elevator speech and personal pitch, again, like making sure that you are able to write it out correctly. And you don't have LinkedIn Premium, it's probably going to make you write like a one-liner, which I don't really like because I'm a student and I don't have that much money to pay for premium. So that one-liner goes a long way. I mean, and it counts character too, it doesn't count word, which is kind of like, I get really mad at that. So what I did was I actually put into ChatGPT and be like, hey, I have this really long pitch. Can you make it 200 characters for me? And it actually does, and it does a great job. And then research the individual organization. Again, like you don't want to send out like mass personal pitches to people thinking that, because you've done way too much. You probably sent out like a message saying hi to somebody from EY, but it was actually somebody from Actalent. That's not a good look. They're not going to respond to that because, of course, you don't care enough to, rephrase it right. And refresh yourself again, company news, join groups, get recommended. So, I mean, for both of you, is it nice when somebody meets you at like a career fair or a networking workshop that they reach out to you via LinkedIn right after, telling you like, hey, it was such a nice interaction with you guys and I'd love to learn more?
Yeah, so I have a personal example to your point, and it's along the same lines of what you're just talking about. So for me, in my career, so like I said earlier, I need to uncover new business and find new construction projects that I can essentially help these construction firms with. So I seen that one of my target companies was attending this networking event. I connected with this guy on LinkedIn and kind of made my profile picture known and who I was. He was responsive, and I met him at the event that he was going, and we kind of carried on the conversation from what we started on LinkedIn. So to your point, yes, you can meet people at these events through and connecting with them through LinkedIn. and it is a great warm up before the actual meeting, or if you will. So
Yeah, and I think Kim had a question in the chat, and so yes, you can send connections to anybody that you want to send a connection to. Before, if it's somebody that's like out of your network, so you don't have a connection with them, it'll give you a box to write in why you're connecting with them. I highly recommend you always say why. You could say, hey, I'm interested in your industry. I heard you have similar background, anything along those lines. But a good LinkedIn page and how you're active on LinkedIn is you have 500 connections or more. And that's when you're noticed. And I think I have like 2,000 connections, and I think I know 50% of them. And just in the industry that I'm in, I have to meet a lot of people, but like, yes, you can reach out to strangers and tell them why you're interested. That's what LinkedIn's for. It's like a virtual platform. And something else you can do is you can take your LinkedIn page and put it into ChatGPT and say, dissect this. My goal is to get a new job within IT or whatever you want to do, and they'll tell you and give you suggestions on what to do. So I'm all for shortcuts, and that's a shortcut. That's a really good one.
Thank you guys. Okay, so using LinkedIn's alumni tool. So if you guys haven't, seen this before, you can go into the Costello College of Business, the actual like LinkedIn page, and there's an alumni tool. And here you can filter out, whatever state they're in that you're interested in, what kind of areas of jobs, companies, all that sort. Personally, I have used this alumni tools many, many times just to reach out, say hi, get my name out there. And I think it's great. I mean, if they went to the same school as you, and of course, if you have a mutual connection, why not do it? I mean, the worst they can do is don't respond. They say hi or no. I mean, like, again, you're not losing anything. It's a one sentence. So it doesn't waste a lot of time. It's like sliding into someone's DMs, but here it's actually LinkedIn. So Sabna and Brent, while you guys were in college, were you able to reach out to any alumni along the way, or just connect with them, ask about their experiences and how to get into your field?
my career path after college was in the military, so I just kind of did that for a while. But I will tell you, after I got out of the Army, LinkedIn at that period of time was, I want to say it was just starting, but I will tell you that it was newer in age with its development. Okay. However, by the time I got out of the Army and reestablishing my presence in the career field, because I was looking for a job when I got out, I was able to go to my college's webpage or George Mason, and you can go to where it says, or there's normally a people icon down there too, or AKA the alumni section, and just connect with everybody down there. And you could see if there's anybody in the career field that you desire. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's networking right there. Because they see that you're reaching out from George Mason and that you're also an alumni, they're like, hey, let me see if I can help this individual, you know? So yeah, that's a great hot button right there.
Yeah. So funny story. I went to George Mason. I worked in like finance for a couple of years prior to finding this job, and then I wanted to find a new job. And somebody that I didn't know that went to Mason was working at Actalent. I reached out and I was like, "What's up, fellow patriot?" And that's how I actually got the job that I'm in currently. So highly, highly recommend utilizing the fact that you go to Mason, your alumni network. It's great, and it's a tool that you will forever have.
That's a great example.
Okay, guys, I mean, you heard it from them. Look, I can say all I want, but hey, they did this, so I mean, take it from them. It works. Networking works. Okay, and then another alumni tool, as Brent also mentioned, you can see all of the companies that you love to work. I mean, these are amazing companies in the DMV area, and why not again reach out to all of them? Like, if you have a fellow patriot in that level and you want to work with Deloitte, Booz Allen, Freddie Mac, I mean, come on, like Sana did it, you can do it too. It's just a really quick and easy way to get your foot in the door. And if you want to go to New York, there's also New York. We have like what now? 3,500 people in the New York area. These are 3,500 people that you can reach out to. I mean, at least like half of it's going to respond to you. It doesn't work, doesn't, hurt trying. And then again, these are all just areas that you can, if you are interested in, it's not just for, business. You see if you're going into engineering, communications, research, all of them. It's a great, great tool to have if you sometimes your search bar isn't gonna give you all these detailed stats. These are right there for you to use and, just try it out today. Maybe you'll find your next career path. Again, just more areas that you can look into. LinkedIn networking next steps. Again, these are just talking again about the alumni that we just used for LinkedIn, that whole stats and just being able to reach out. And then developing your correspondence template, 200 characters. Again, I've done this before. Just being able to list down your points, put it in ChatGPT and be like, hey, write me 200 characters and make it professional. Because sometimes hi, I'm Lynn is already like what, 300 characters? I'm just joking, but it takes up a lot. And if we have these AIs to help you and it's a good way to use AI, it'd be great. And then start networking, virtual or in person, conversations are best. I mean, like, take a lot of time with networking, you have to keep these connections, try to keep them forever, because if it doesn't work out now, it will work out in the future. So it's always good to have people around that are wanting to help you. Thank them for their time, follow up. Again, like Brenda Satna says, it's nice to keep, the conversation flowing. If you didn't have enough time to talk with them in person, keep following up on LinkedIn, if they give you their email, follow up on there. Because I mean, like, people are there to help you, they're not there to fail you. So if they're trying to share their experiences to give you advice, take it, and that goes a long way. Next. Oh. All right. Networking via social media. A lot of times, LinkedIn works best, but you can also use this through, X, Instagram, Facebook. Build connections is everywhere. If you have a family member or a family member friend that is working at a company that you really liked and they posted on Facebook, that is a chance for you to reach out. Again, like that is connection itself. Post engaging content, it will reach the right person. Engage people on social pages by commenting on and sharing content. Be nice, tell them, on Facebook, sometimes I can see that here's are some job postings upcoming, and I'll just comment down like, hey, I'm super interested. So just show that you're interested. And for Satna and Brent, do you find a lot of networking or job opportunities within social media? How would students use social media to network in your point of view?
I would say so you can use social media because it depends what industry you're in, right? Like, so if you're going for something a little bit more technical in terms of like engineering, construction, there's not a lot of companies out there, but every single company nowadays has a Instagram profile. So feel free to follow them. A lot of times they'll follow you back because they want the flow on their feed. Just one thing I would say about social media is just remember that employers always look at your social media. There's always a way. So whatever you want your LinkedIn to depict, make sure your social media does the same in terms of like who you are, right? Get a lot more creative on Instagram and a little bit more scandalous. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying make sure that like if you ever were to show it to your employer, it's okay. So I think those are how the two coincide, but make sure you always follow any page that like you're like, hey, I want to go work at Deloitte one day. Like they have a really cool page. Be interactive on it. Because a lot of times you'll get some leads on like who are the hiring managers, who's HR there, who's like what are they doing, and you can try to tailor your social media and your LinkedIn to kind of capture their attention.
Yeah, and I just actually posted it in the chat, but there's certain people at organizations in social media and specifically referencing LinkedIn. You could follow the company that you wish to work at, their HR, because they're always posting job postings on LinkedIn to get the most visibility. For an example, I just posted our internal recruiter who is in charge of making our job postings at Actalent. So she would love to connect with anybody and chat more detail and stuff like that too. But that's just an example. Well said, Subna.
And I think Mohammed had a question like, it depends on your social media, right? If you're like, I never want my employer to see my social media, which I totally get, like, then maybe it makes sense for you to create a different one and follow all these companies. So you kind of have to do what fits you, but just make sure then if you do want to create a separate one or a separate Twitter, you're as active on it as you are on your typical social media, and you also are still engaging with getting followers and having people follow you back. So It's a little bit more time consuming, but do what works best for you. But I will say this, and just coming from talking to clients all day long, like they look at, if you have one Instagram, they're going to look at the other. So just a quick plug there.
Definitely, and just being able to keep up, keep updated with all their news and social media is just so interest, right? Here we go. Handshake, so used to research company recruiters and staff and other students. So Handshake, if a lot of students didn't already know, sometimes, I mean, hopefully not all the time, you're gonna get a lot of scam jobs within either LinkedIn, Glassdoor, or Indeed. I mean, those are just like, a no-brainer. You will probably get them sometimes. But Handshake, on the other hand, these are actual recruiters and staff, and you will never ever get a scam job because it goes through the school first and they'll see if the company is valid or not, and then they'll post it. So here you're talking to good, real recruiters, and you won't have the fear of, talking to a bad one, of course. But yeah, so always use Handshake if you are looking towards job opportunity within school, near school, and all that stuff. And these are just a little bit of, Handshake in a glimpse. So you can go in the job search bar, look for whatever jobs that you like. If you scroll down, most of the time they'll add like, the hiring manager can reach out to them via Handshake, but that's that. And there you go. And these are people, I personally have reached out to a lot of people on Handshake before, just because I was interested in jobs, and I'll make sure I find them as like a talent acquisition. So reaching out is good. Just, use any resource that you can to network. I mean, again, the worst they can say is no, or they just don't respond to you. And that's okay. You can keep on trying.
Oh, and by the way, guys, like on LinkedIn or Handshake, like it is completely normal to reach out unannounced and connect with people and message people that you don't even know. It's not like Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook where you reach out to a complete stranger. They may or may not accept your friend request or think it's weird that you're messaging them. That's like expected on LinkedIn. That's why people join. So just FYI.
Hunter and Apollo, these you can find people's email. I personally use them when I did my internship, reaching out to different, clients and also researchers, all that stuff. So it's a good place where you could do research. Just please use it respectfully and be professional. All right, so Handshake events, you can find these just by logging into Handshake, going into events, and finding any employer-sponsored workshops and career fairs. We also post them on our events page. So if you go onto our Instagram, which I will list at the end, we have a link tree, and it's all career events and recruiter events coming up. So make sure you keep an eye out for that, like the one today. So it's very, very educational. You learn a lot just by coming in, also just being able to connect with them. And then scan this QR code, and then elevator pitch, again, show confidence from handshake and smile. You want to stand out amongst every other person. You don't want to do what everyone else does. Make sure you come prepared, look professional, look good in a suit, speak clearly, try not to mumble. I mean, if you want to practice your elevator pitch, the career office is always here to help you. So if you want to come in for 5 minutes for a drop-in, just like, hey, I need help with my pitch. I don't know what to say. This is my first time. Great office to come. And I mean, we're here to help you. So remember, 55 to 70% of communication is not what is an elevator pitch, who you are, name, class, what you do, your major and concentration, why you're interested, what do you know about the organization, a unique and memorable fact about your background. So exactly what Sapna said when all of these LinkedIn messages that we practiced earlier is why you're interested in audit. What experiences have you had in audit? What experiences have you had in HR? Make sure to be detailed about it and then tie it back to why you're interested in Actalent or why you're interested in KPMG, EY. Always get to tie it back at the end of the day. Make it unique. Show your values. And then this is our new Casella Career AI. Again, if you don't have time coming into our office, you can use this AI system to help you with your elevator pitch. Not only that, it does self introductions, technical interviews, scenarios, and it helps you with your resume. So it's always available for you, even though sometimes our office closes at 5, so if you don't have time to come in because of class, schools, exams, all that stuff, it's here to help you. These are all of our student organizations listed. You can find just by going online at Costello College of Business Student Organizations, and you can always join these. We always highly recommend you join. Again, you don't know who you will meet if you don't go. So, all right, network. Again, join Costello Career Collective. This is a LinkedIn group to connect with alumni, fellow students, industry professionals. You can post, I've posted mine in there before. You post in there and then you just be like, hey guys, I'm a marketing student. I'm very interested in market research, social media strategy. And a lot of the times they will comment and be like, hey, that sounds very interesting. I would love to connect with you. Let's further this conversation. Questions. So you can schedule an appointment, do drop-ins, go on our website and find us on LinkedIn and all that stuff. And then this is our Instagram and LinkedIn page. So just connect with us. We post a lot of jobs that aren't posted on LinkedIn and Handshake. So they're all for business students and we always do whatever matches your major. So as of right now, is Actalent offering any opportunities for students in the business area? I wanted to give you guys a moment to speak on Actalent a little bit more.
So Actalent thrives off of hiring individuals such as yourself that are directly out of college. To Macy, I believe that's your name. We love to take individuals like yourself that might not be comfortable in said area and help develop you into a networking professional. So you don't need a lot of these skills when you hit the job market, although you might be ahead of the game if you do, but it's completely fine. But yes, we are hiring. I would definitely recommend following Jasmine on LinkedIn. I put her name in the chat earlier. Definitely follow Subna and myself also. Just type in our first and last name on LinkedIn and you'll find us. Message us if you have any questions relating to the topics of today. And Lynn is very knowledgeable in this as it seems also. So you guys have a resource right there in your backyard also. And, you know, a lot of the events that Subna and I go to are very industry specific, but they are also free. So, you know, if there's ever a situation where you want to tag along with one of us to a networking event, you can kind of see how we go about I guess what Subna says, working the room and just engaging in those conversations. We're more than happy to help you out there also. But nonetheless, yeah, Actalent's always hiring. We're a nationwide company. So even if you're moving or you don't know you're going to stay in the Virginia area, we have offices in pretty much every major city around the country. So you go to actalentservices.com and check out all the jobs there. But also if you're in the engineering field, like Actalent specializes in engineering and sciences. So there's another division that focuses on engineering outside of construction, like what I do, but they have engineering positions open that you could find. So
Yeah, and like I came from school of business and I had no idea I was going to land a job in recruiting. And so you never know where the wind's going to take you. Just to kind of go off of that, so I have to hop at 3 o'clock. So thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I hope that everyone connects with me on LinkedIn. But if you are ever interested and you're like, hey, I want to work at Apple, like that is like where I want to work. That's my dream. Most likely they're one of our clients, and I can feel free to reach out to me or Brent, and we can tell you a little bit of insight of like what they look for on a new resume. Somebody coming out of school and what they looked for, and I'm more than happy to share that intel. And if you guys ever want me to look at your LinkedIn or Brent and give you some advice or work on your elevator pitch or anything along those lines, just feel free to reach out. Like I'm more than happy to help. I'm local to the area, so love to meet for coffee. But thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys. That's absolutely amazing. We did have one question in the chat. When you go to a networking event, would you prefer to get a resume or a business card from a student?
yeah, I think it depends on the event. If you're going to a career fair at university or any other career related event, I would definitely have a stack of resumes to hand out. If you're at a networking event, like if it's a business networking event, I would ask for the business card of the individual you're talking to. And then when you get home, then send them your resume via email. Because when you're at a networking event, an individual doesn't want to carry around a piece of paper with them while they're chatting with other colleagues or they're trying to make rounds themselves. So that's something to think about. But like I said, it depends on the event. If it's a career fair and you're going to a booth, then yes, definitely bring a resume.
Oh, all right. If you guys have any other questions, again, like Sapna and Brent said, please connect with them on LinkedIn after this and reach out, just say at least, say, hey, my name is so and so, loved hearing from you, and just get that conversation going. But Brent, thank you so, so much, you and Sapna today for joining. I know it was definitely a lot of insights for myself. So thank you.
Hey, thanks guys for having us, man. It was fun.
Thank you. Have a good one.